In this video, I'm going to show you how I built an amazing emulator for my favorite retro games using the new Raspberry Pi 5. Let's get to it. I'm not the type of gamer that needs every single retro game ever made on my hard drive, which is how a lot of times emulation machines on Amazon and other storefronts are presented. Unfortunately, I don't have the time to play every single game ever created.
What did you say?
Which is why I am razor focused on just my favorite games from the 80s and 90s. Some of the fondest memories of my childhood, aside from listening to my favorite CDs and making mixtapes, was casual gaming on the OG Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and Nintendo 64 later on. Like music, playing these older titles allows me to tap into memories I didn't know were there anymore. Many hours I spent fine-tuning my gaming skills on these consoles, playing with my brother and with friends, the smell of breakfast on a Saturday morning while I finished that last level on Super Mario.
Humans, you're so nostalgic.
I got a future project coming up where all of this will make sense, but for now I want to focus on the Raspberry Pi. This little machine is a powerful music streamer, and now I'm repurposing it as a gaming machine. There isn't much it cannot do. Now, I know you can do this on your PC, but I think it's way more special to dedicate a little device like this to the task of emulating my favorite retro games because it's an escape from my PC, which is primarily my workhorse. It's nice to step away from work for a bit and just lose myself in the games that made up the greater part of my adolescence. Now, in this video, we're going to touch on the Raspberry Pi just a little bit since I have covered it to extreme extents in previous videos. I'm going to show you how to install the main software needed to make this happen, as well as how to install the game files, or ROMs, as they are referred to, onto the Raspberry Pi. So go ahead, slap the like button, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Now, if you're interested in how I put this incredible Raspberry Pi build together, click this link or check out the description below. Now, why did I choose a Raspberry Pi for this task? Well, the Raspberry Pi has the computing power to handle, I'd say, most retro games. I'd feel confident that it can even play up to N64. N64 emulation is more demanding than older systems, like the NES or SNES, due to its more complex 3D graphics and processing requirements, but I'm confident that the Raspberry Pi 5 can handle it, since there are people out there claiming that it can handle Dreamcast and PS2 games. I'm fairly sure that it can, but probably not at the quality you could get from a more powerful system. Either way, we're going to figure out how to get it all to work. What you download at that point, none of my business. So back in the day, and even today, emulating different consoles is a bit complex. It requires separate programs for each system, often leading to just a frustrating experience through and through. It's still a bit frustrating when you don't know what you're doing. Unfortunately, there isn't much compatibility with the Raspberry Pi 5 since it is a new design. However, thanks to a program called RecalBox, this process has been streamlined, allowing for multiple console emulations within one unified interface, making it significantly easier and just more user-friendly. Now, there are many gaming purists out there that may not like RecalBox, but as I mentioned, the options were slim, folks. I don't have much experience with Linux, and I couldn't code my way out of a folder, let alone figure out how to get some of these other emulators to play nice with the Pi 5.
It is what it is.
RecalBox serves as an all-in-one hub for emulation. It streamlines the process of downloading emulation cores, organizing game ROMs, and fine-tuning settings within a single platform. Once you get past the initial setup, it's just remarkably user-friendly. Here's a quick guide to get you started. Using a separate PC, download RecalBox. Also download Balena Etcher, which will be the software used to flash the program onto the drive that you'll use for the Pi. Now, many people use micro SD cards for this purpose. However, I decided to connect an SSD to the Pi using this little case and this little cable. Either way, it will work. I'll leave links for all this stuff down below. The first step within RecalBox is to program the controller you'll be using, since it's easier to navigate the UI with a controller. I picked up this amazing controller, the 8BitDo Pro 2, I hope I said that right, Pro 2. I like the style, and it was highly recommended by the gaming community. So far so good. I like the classic aesthetic, and it feels like quality in my hands, not that plasticky cheap shit that you come across on Amazon sometimes. Now, the RecalBox does come with some freebie games, so you can try it out. If you want to play your favorite titles for the consoles available on this platform, you'll need ROM files for each title. However, Due to the legal complexities surrounding ROMs, we won't provide links here. Generally, you should only use ROMs for games you already own, and this varies based on your location. However, if you happen to Google video game ROMs, this could lead you to other options that I cannot confirm nor deny is the right or ethical way to go.
That's illegal, Michael.
For organizations, save your ROMs in a folder divided into subfolders by console type. This will make it easier to back up on your actual PC, and when you're ready to move them over to the new Pi, the drive used for RecalBox has a folder called Shared, where you can see there is a ROM folder in there and all the provided platforms and corresponding folders are inside. I'm just doing NES, SNES, and Nintendo 64 for now, so it was easy just to copy and paste those three. I think I migrated like maybe 75 games, which to me is a lot of games. I do realize I should try games I've never played, and I promise you I will. The last thing you do is connect this thing to the internet. I am using a wired connection because I couldn't for the life of me figure out how to get the Wi-Fi to work. If you figured this out on the Pi 5 through RecalBox, please drop a comment below on how to do that. Now that you're online, go ahead and scrape all your new games. This means the system will search for case art and metadata for each game you added. This is super easy, takes a few minutes, and makes your UI look so much better. The gameplay is buttery smooth on the NES and SNES. I like how it has this faux TV that changes the aspect ratio. N64 though, I tried playing GoldenEye, which I know is a well-known fact that this game is not easy to emulate regardless. It stuttered a bit with the sound. Slightly choppy, perhaps acceptable to some, but for me it's unplayable. Luckily, I gave my fiance an N64 for Christmas so I can play it on there if I feel the need. Hydro Thunder was okay, and Zelda Ocarina of Time had its moments of stuttering here and there. Overall, I wouldn't recommend N64 for this setup. This is a fun novelty. I like that I can play all my favorite retro games pre-N64 flawlessly. I can save my game where I was, which is super cool. I like this. Did I assemble the best emulation experience? Probably not. I am sure a halfway decent desktop setup could completely crush this thing. For the price of entry though, and how plug and play RecalBox was, I would recommend this to someone who isn't a supercomputer nerd, savvy guy, you know, and just wants to casually play some retro games without too much work and with very little upfront cost. I'm going to move this thing to my bedroom for some late night gaming sessions.
Oh, word?
Thank you all for hanging out with me for a bit. I really enjoyed filming this video. This is a fun topic for me. If you enjoyed the video and got something from it, fling a fireball at the like button. Subscribe to the channel and ring the bell to get notified every time a new video is born. With all that said and done, I will see you on the next one, my friends. Take care and Happy New Year.